required to be removed because, and also because sometimes you listen to that story, you're deep listening, and then it presses a huge red button in yourself. So that person is telling their story, and at the moment it's like, oh, the same thing happened to me, and the emotions start in. Would you be able to support that person if yourself are already in the movie? You mean, you're already in your own emotions? No. Why? Because you'll be mirroring, so you'll be transferring your own emotions, and you won't be able to provide that feedback that we were talking about. You won't be able to be the support that that person might need. So this is why it is important first to know how to deal with your own emotions, and then to work on that skill to be present and invisible. It's not easy, but it's feasible. It just needs your setting. Sorry that I interrupted. Go on.
I have a question on judgment. If you see something that you don't like of your mentee when you are speaking with him or her, how do you behave?
Make an example.
With him or her.
Make an example.
I have a very simple example.
Yes.
In my small experience of mentoring, a boy showed me some videos, videos to laugh. I did not like them because they attack somehow some values I believe in. I think are important, and I thought they would be important for him too. What did I have to do in that situation? Because my first reaction was to say, okay, I don't like it that much, but it created a wall between me and him. And I wanted also to transmit him somehow my values. Do I have to eliminate completely my values, or should I try to at least make him think about that?
So what did you do at the end? Did you tell him that you didn't like it?
I said, okay, let's see another one. It is funny, but I don't like this part because of that. I said that. I'm not sure. I don't think I behaved well, but I was.
Whatever. It was in the past. Okay. Use the mentor's most powerful tool. Ask questions. Why do you like this video? What is so funny about that? Do you need to state your judgment? Not necessarily, Benedetta. Okay, you're the mentor. So, you might think immediately, this video sucks. I don't like it. It's insulting. It's violent. It's racist. Whatever. Keep it for yourself. Have the mentee say that. Have the mentee realize, you see the switch? So, judgment, everyone, we all judge. We all judge, guys. It's normal. It's our defense. It's a way we protect ourselves from dying. It's survival of the species. But how do we use wise judgment? And the first question you need to ask yourselves is this useful? How useful is my judgment in this situation? Again, we ask questions. How useful is for me to judge the video? Or you can even step behind and ask your mentee, why are you showing me this? What is the purpose for you to show me this video in the first place? So it's like biting. I bite my tongue a lot and I transform a statement into a question. I transform something that I want to say onto a question, just to ensure that the answer is not necessarily what I want to hear, but I want the mentee to reach the conclusion, his own conclusion, her own conclusion. But he needs to be smart enough to say, yeah, well, yeah, indeed, you might be right. It's quite, or whomever is Christian, you know, Jesus said, don't do to others what you wouldn't like people to do to you. Ask that question. If you were the protagonist of this video, would you like it? Pam! That's striking! Because we're often, you know, seeing things from an external perspective. We're not into it. The moment we empathize with that situation is the moment we understand that in that position we might be in a huge discomfort. So judgment, yes, we have it, but it depends on how we use it. We need to use it wisely. And is it necessary? Okay. Is it necessary? It's like the way we talk to kids. Yesterday I was mentioning over lunchtime. When you tell a boy, a 7-year-old boy, you're a liar, you're condemning him forever. Because that boy thinks whatever he says, he's not believed. Instead, if you say, why did you tell mommy a lie? It's the lie, it's the situation, it's the action, it's not the person. I'm not judging him. I'm judging him just for that specific action he did. So yeah, mommy, sorry I said it because. Done and dusted. We go over. It's like, you don't listen to me. I don't feel listened to. How different it is. And I said the same thing. The concept is, I don't feel you're listening to me. But instead of accusing the other person, I'm telling this about myself. Am I judging you? No. I'm just saying I don't feel I'm listened to. So if the other person is smart enough to understand that he's got a responsibility in this, then something can be done. It's a mutual communication. Communicate effectively. What does effectively mean? That you want to reach an objective while you communicate. And you need to have an objective beforehand. I often say, I start sentences by, I need an opinion on this. So I want your opinion. And even if it's harsh, this is an exercise that I often do with my partner. Even if it's harsh, you know what he tells me? Ale, you asked my opinion, I'm giving it to you. We fight a lot, anyway, but we're communicating like this. I want something from you, I expect something back. And that's an effective communication. Okay, Benedetta, so judgment, we're all judging, depends on how we use it.
And just to add up on the example, and also those kinds of moments are opportunities. Why? Because this, especially when you're working with young people, teenagers especially, those things that they're showing you, sharing, provides you a view of their life outside of your relationship. And this might give you information when you ask the questions. Well, I totally agree that you ask the questions. It is important to go as deep as possible. Why? Because maybe it's they don't find it funny, but all their friends do. So in order to slip in the group, what do? Well, I'll pretend that I like it funny. And it happens a lot with people who lack their self-confidence. So this is something that will give you more information on things that they might need support with. So how to deal with peer pressure, because peer pressure is a great problem for our age. Why? Because we are so addicted to our social media, like all of us, not only the young people, but we are all addicted and depending on the social media, that if we don't get the likes, if we don't get the hearts, we don't feel love, we feel abandoned, we feel not seen. So what happens? We try to fit in. Why? Instead of taking photos of how I'm studying, what will I post? My beautiful plates from yesterday, a picture of me standing like this. You see the idea. So I will change what I post based on my need of improvement of others. So this might be something to, this is why it's important in such situations to dive deeper and to underline one more thing. So if we go back to the ability to learn, I would go back to you with a question. Why did this bother you? You see the idea. So this, if it bothers me, this means that there's something inside myself that is also reacting. You see, so I'm reacting. This means that there's something for me to also to work. Why is this video bothering me so much? Is it really that bad? Or my judgment is based on something that happened to me, you see the idea. So when the mentor has also the privilege while working with all those mentees to see it as an opportunity of personal growth, to see where my shadows are, where my hidden things are, where my subconscious models that I'm acting from that I'm not aware of. So also coming back to ability to learn, so ability to work on yourself and see why is your reaction so afterwards. Do a self-discovery, yes, sir.
Okay, yes. So kind of following from her example, pulling in Maria's comment yesterday, question yesterday about if that thing shown to you is a past crime, it reaches the level of crime, right? Whatever you see in the video, how do you manage that? And what if that thing, that video you see, shows the possibility of future crime, especially at this, children level where things are possible. If you see something that maybe is a past crime, how do you handle that? What if it shows the possibility of a future, crime again? How do you handle that? Is it the same way?
Well, you're talking about extreme cases, Frank. This is very rare for these things to happen. I mean, you would talk it through with the mentee.
It might not be crime, it could be something like a video of a child beating up a girl child.
Yeah.
Right? It might not be a crime, but it's something.
No, it's awareness. Then how do you create awareness? Then you might talk about it with your mentee, for example. Like asking questions again and saying, if you were beat up, would you like it? Would you consider this something entertaining? Like, make him understand, ask him questions to have different viewpoints. Make him understand that, if this was done to your sister, would you feel the same? Something, because again, like we said yesterday about feedback needs to be personal on the very situation. So if you have people live that very situation on their skin, then they're more prone to understand the consequences of it. So again, if you discuss about the topic, then you also know how to better create awareness, and then you have to involve more people in the picture.
So if you know now that, okay, from what I can see, it seems like this particular student is being maybe bullied, but we don't know. Now I know. I can't just discuss it with this mentee. I have to do something to protect that child, right?
Only with the mentee's approval. He needs to be aware that you want to do something about it. And remember, and this is even more difficult, remember you're stepping out of your role.
Yeah.
Remember, we had at the school where I'm supervising this mentoring project, we had a case whereby there was a child abused by his father. He had all scars and bruises, and the mentor, she was involved by the dean to testify that she saw these scars and bruises. She called me in an emergency status, she was very, very emotional. She said, what should I do? And I said, these are your boundaries. If you want to testify, know that you're stepping out of your mentoring role.
Yeah.
So again, it's your will. It's your free will, it's your choice. You're making a choice, again, to be able to help that person, but you're not a mentor at that moment. You are a person who worked with that child as a mentor, but this is not part of your role to witness or to do something about it. Okay? So again, it just needs a lot of thought. You need to think it through, think of the consequences, think of the next steps, think of the implications of each choice you make. Knowing that the relationship is you and the mentee, and that if the mentee shows you something sensitive, you might want to discuss with him before going external. Okay? It's difficult, it's complex. It's complex. But you're wise enough, you guys are wise enough to be here and to be able to learn wise things. And again, many bad things happen because we don't ask for permission to speak up for somebody. We think we're doing the good thing, like for example, reaching out to the police to alarm on an abuse situation. We don't know what that woman, what that child, the context he lived in. So we might say, yeah, but I did the right thing by going to the police. Not really. Did you ask? Did you ask permission? Did you ask if this was okay? Not necessarily.
And if you betray trust, it might destroy the
Of course, of course. He might say, you know, I'm telling you this, I don't want you to do anything, you don't do anything. Or you choose to work with the mentee to convince him to do something. It's hard. You're stepping on eggs, huh? You're risking an omelette. Shall we, I think we need to give and receive feedback. I guess we talked about it thoroughly yesterday about it. Is it all clear? Feedback is crucial. Crucial. Not only mentorship, but ask for feedback at all times. Did you like the dinner? Did you like the place? Did you like this training? Did you like Arcos de Valdevez? Did you like the way feedback, evaluation forms are super important. Don't underestimate the importance of evaluations, because if we have the power to the people, let's change things through based on what? Based on, this is why, for example, Fabiola in her presentation, she put people trust us and Disneyland in the first place. So big people trust us. It means it's a reputable organization. Feedback is super important, okay? So I think we all have it clear, Okay. Shall I move forward? Ability to establish good relationships and enhance networking. We need to know the stakeholders we work on. Not only our mentees, but we need to know the people we work with to be able to establish good relationship and make suggestions whenever the mentees want to reach out to somebody.
And just to add up, networking is a skill that is really important in our age. And we should consider, going back to the digital literacy, that e-mentor should also have a digital, to know how to digitally create a network. Using platforms like LinkedIn, for example, so connecting on another level, because Instagram is great, but professional networking happens in LinkedIn. Or in your country, maybe there's another network specific in the field that you're working to. So in the networking, it's not just give the person have, let's say, a connection to 10 people in the field and just continue to use those. No, it's enlarging your own network, so investing time to work on your own network so that you can spread that information and then afterwards support even better. Because with the globalization, with the open market, there are professional fields where you can be supporting and advising a person from Spain and advising them to work for Japan. You see the idea? So actually your network needs to be always on time. So your own networking skills should be on point and your own network should be active. So if you need in your future, you can be publishing, you can go to events, for example. So you need to work and invest in your own self so that afterwards you can provide those that come to you. Because otherwise you are just a person that can, like a professional that can support but cannot provide the networking if you don't have that network behind you, if you don't have the name. Because if a mentee is calling, usually it's like, hey, Hicks person gave me your number. Do I have the reputation that when they know that I referred that person, they're like, oh, I should listen to what that person is having to say. You see the idea behind that competence. So it's how to develop the networking yourself, and afterwards how to introduce your mentees to the same network and to introduce the skills of networking, because networking is a skill. I'm a very communicative person, but very bad in networking. This is a completely different skill. Not just to make the content, but keep it as part of your network. So.
And yeah, and networking also means to develop your personal branding, for example, which is something I'm not sure everyone has in this room, me included. It's very difficult. For example, imagine yourself going to a fair where you have a lot of, like a mentoring fair, or an international cooperation fair, or a tourism fair. Okay, you go alone, you want to find opportunities, you want to build your network. How do you present yourself? What do you offer? Who are you? How are you going to get dressed? Like this, or with high heels and all made up? And that's a choice. We choose what we want to be. I could even go with my tracksuit or a swimsuit and, very sporty. If it's a sports event, for example, we need to change, we need to be adaptable to the different contexts. Because in one way, this is why on the group I asked Carla, are we going to be informal or formal? Because I was ready to bring my high heels if it was a formal context. Of course, we need to change, we need to be adaptive. And to avoid to be labeled. We can maintain our own uniqueness aside, according to what we want to sell.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just to give you a practical example why branding is really important. I'm a university professor, but I never dress really formal. I don't like it, I don't feel comfortable in those clothes, so I don't do it. But because I'm in the field of innovations in education, my revolution on coding also shows my colleagues that I'm not like them. I don't agree with the requirements of the system right now, and I'm here to change it. And I'm standing, this is part of my branding, you see. So this is a typical, an idea that every element counts. Should I let my hair out? Is it cut? Am I combed? Einstein. You see? No, but this is branding. This is what actually she's underlining, because this will first attract the right people to you. Why? Because former professors cannot have a good discussion with me. Why? Because every second is like, well, have you considered that you might change? And maybe they don't like change. They're conservative researchers. Or this will also yesterday when they're explaining how the matching process happened. This is also important. When the mentee sees you, they first perceive you through the eyes. They look at me like, oh, I like her. I like her shoes. Ooh, I have the same shoes. Good match. You see the idea. Mm-hmm. So every element counts in this competence.
Maria,
can I just ask the question? So we're talking about formal mentoring. So we actually do put on a face, right? We put on a face where we're selfless, where we're understanding, where we're patient, where we're giving options, asking questions. Blah, blah,
well,
blah.
that's your face in theory, yeah? Yeah, it's your natural face.
Yeah.
Should be.
But we don't want to influence, as we said. We want to make the person make the choices. So we do put on a face, and while putting on that face, since it's a long-term process, you said it could last 6-9 months, doesn't our real self sometimes come out? But do we sell as well when time goes by? And as opposed to natural, informal mentoring. So informal mentoring, do we actually lack this quality that must be present, which is honesty? And we're like...
You're chosen because you're honest. Because people see, because the mentees, the informal mentees, see your honesty even if you're all made up with high heels.
How do they know I'm honest? I could not...
Because they know you. If you're a professor...
I present myself in a certain way, right? And then they choose. Huh?
Yeah, but you behave in another way.
How do I behave in the online?
For example, when I wear high heels, I also speak Roman slang. You know what I mean? I can be as formal as I want, but my inner self is that of a very, formal and funny person. Even with high heels. So the form is different from the substance. We're talking, Maria, you highlight a lot the informal and formal, but formal means that you are trained and you are available for the mentees.
Yeah,
to
because you're not
choose
natural
you.
mentor.
Sorry?
Right? Because let's say in education.
You are natural. The difficulty is to formalize something natural.
Yes.
This
How
is why I
successful
cannot...
would that be?
It's very successful, otherwise I wouldn't be here. Otherwise the European Commission wouldn't have believed in such a project.
That's my question. And the e-mentoring idea. I mean, people choose long distance, right?
Yeah.
So you have profiles of people, like you choose a plumber when you want a plumber to come to your house and fix your whatever. So you see what kind of qualifications that person has, if he has good reviews, feedback, positive feedback.
Yeah.
That's how approximately how it's used.
Yeah, well imagine Tinder. Imagine.
But then I listen to classical music and then I'm not the best, possibly the best role model. They don't know. They kind of choose blindfolded, don't they?
But this is why, but Maria, but I said it yesterday. This is why we have chemistry.
Yeah.
This is why, guys, imagine a dating app. Come on, let's be,
It could work out, it could not work out.
Exactly, it's the mentoring, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Maria, oh wow, I like her. She's so good looking. She loves classical music. She loves hiking. I have the same interests. Okay, let me send her a request. She sent me a request back, so we are matching. But then we see each other, we don't like each other.
Okay.
That's the same as mentoring.
So switch, get a new one. Is that how it works? Okay. I'm just asking the process.
Yeah, yeah.
If I can add something, I also think in terms of the perspective of the mentee, I don't think we must take away that they have their own intuition. They know, you as a mentee, you know what you need in that person.
Exactly. Intuition is very important. That's why I said...
That's why, if you want to, if you portray an honest version of yourself, if that person chooses you or not, that's not up to you. As long as whatever you stand for is portrayed in your profile, they will follow their intuition, because I think in many of these instances, we take away from the mentee's role in choosing and in following their gut. And that is ultimately what will, I don't say that will establish the connection or the chemistry, but it is that intuition that will lead them to the right person for them.
And differently from a dating app, you're genuine because you know you're doing something good for another person. So I don't think you want to show yourself off by, putting a profile picture that is totally fake, as opposed as like a genuine picture of you hiking for a mentee to see that you're an adventurous person. Let's use some common sense, guys, here.
What is the percentage of people that change mentees until they find
Very little. Very little, because if the matching is done properly, is well done, in the project we had 0 changes. 0 changes. All the mentees were matched to the right mentors because we spent time on the matching phase. Because if you profile the mentors in a good way, you can be sure, and you review the mentors' profiles. This is why a project manager, a supervisor is so important. you are sure that the mentees will choose rightly, because they choose based on their intuition. How do you make an 11-year-old kid choose a mentor? It's a gut.